this episode of Mud, Dust and Gears, we bring you all the racing action from the 2018 Northern Regions Cross Country Championship, the Baberspan 500. All this racing action is proudly brought to you by Fila Africa, Pirelli, Andre Kokensian and Zelco Motors Uppington. Hello and welcome to a gorgeous Baberspan 500 race. We are of course in Baberspan, the beautiful bird sanctuary. Going to be a little bit disturbed today because we got a lot of horsepower on show for today's 40 kilometer time trial. And of course then the big one on Saturday, 2 loops of 200 kilometers each. So over 400 kilometers of racing here in the Baberspan open lands, of course part of the Northwest province. Great to have all our sponsors here showing off their products. And great to have them part of the series. Of course, without them, there would be no racing. All the competitors now rocking up with their vehicles. Of course, we've got a mixture here. We've got production and the special categories, all split up into the various classes. So plenty of racing action, not only today in the time trial, but also, as I said, on the Saturday, the main race. Over 400 kilometers of racing through what is going to be some very tricky terrain. The sun is out now. It hasn't been the whole week leading up to the race. So the drivers are really going to be hit with some very tricky conditions throughout not only the time trial today, but also Saturday's racing action. You can see all the stickers, all the necessary scrutineering being done, stickers, and all final preparations before they head out for the first of the time trial. Baberspan Motor Club, been around for many years, especially in this sport, and doing another great job at hosting this event here this weekend. Very much a family vibe. As you can see down in the pits, bring your wife, bring your kids to enjoy some what is going to be dirty racing action, that is for sure.
Good day guys, it's Wayne Karam speaking from Baberspan Motor Club. Would like to take the opportunity to welcome each and every one here today, each and every competitor. It means a lot to us having the guys here. We're a club that's been established since 1973. Which I think is the oldest motor club in South Africa, and where I think off-road originated in 1973 when Jannie Visser and Chris Visser's father them started a mud race here at Baberspan, and that's where everything in off-road started in South Africa.
As always here at Baberspan, the brilliant local catering, some divine food for the drivers and spectators alike to enjoy. It is going to be a long, hard day, so they're going to have to get all the nutrients in that they can. The cars you can see now getting set up and ready for round 2 action here at Baberspan. It was a tough round 1 at Malope 250 down in Vryburg, and here are the championship points leading into round 2. You can see in the production D category, it's Francois van der Walt out front with Gerry Prinsloo leading the navigation. In Class E production, it's Rodney Cook out front with Scott Jennings, the first of the navigators there. In the overall points, you can see it's the Foster Class D's rounding out your top 3. The first of the Class E's, they're in 4th place with Rodney Cook. It's pretty much the same story in the overall navigation, with your D drivers rounding out your top 3 and the first of the E's in 4th place. Move on to the special Class P. Tienis Leroux out front there with Tian Leroux leading out in the navigators. In the overall championship, it is P52 Tienis Leroux, and in the navigators, Tian Leroux. Moving on into a brand new category for 2018 Class X Cross Challenge, and it's LC Diaga out front with NM Killian, the leading of the navigators there. Class Z, TJ Hodgman, he leads out front there with JP Strauss, the leading navigator there in car number Z9. Join us after this pit stop for the first of the time trial action from the Baberspan 500.
Today on 4x4, the Pan Americana. 23 kilometres across the Americas in 5 all-wheel Volkswagen vans. Also, G stands for Go Anywhere, or over 30 years without compromise, the G-Class Mercedes. What do you do when you get stuck in the mud? Andrea Mayer has some tips for you. And a 4x4 family car with turbo power. The 6-seater, 510 horsepower Mercedes R63 AMG.
At Kia Motors, you'll always be pleasantly surprised. We're changing the way South Africans drive and work. Here's how. Our cars offer great value, and so do our deals. We don't just sell passenger cars which offer style with innovation, comfort and technology. This month we have the versatile and durable K2700 and 2500 pickup. It comes with a choice of either a 20k cashback or free canopy and rubberizing. It's the only commercial vehicle that has a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty. It has a 1.3 ton load capacity and timing chain as opposed to cam belts, which reduces running costs. It also comes with a free fleet package to save your business money. Now that's good value. For this great offer, SMS truck to 32595 now. This deal is available at Kia dealers nationwide, so get down to your closest dealer for a test drive. SMS truck to 32595 or go to kia.co.za.
Welcome back to the Baberspan 500 here in the Northwest Province. We are getting ready now to hit the 40-kilometer time trial. See, the cars are getting all prepped. They're in Park Ferme. It really is. You've got to fine-tune these cars. It's all about setup. As we head into driver's briefing, very important information, not only for the drivers but the navigators and spectators alike. They need to know everything about the route, because it is a very, very tough route, this. And here we go. It's time to get ready. All the talk is now done, and it's down to the time trial for the qualifying. Very key to get as high up as possible. You don't want to be the last car going out, especially in this rough terrain. Very muddy out there. We've got beautiful sunshine here. You can see the wind has picked up just a little bit. But as I said, as they get deeper into the route, it really is muddy and tricky. The first car out, the championship leader, their car D33, that's Francois van der Walt and Kerry Prinsloo in their beautiful Toyota Hilux. Remember, production-based, so pretty much a stock engine in there, only slight modifications on the suspension and the bodywork of that car. Navigating his way through there. The first of the crossings, got to just stop there, make sure nothing's coming, gets the go ahead to shoot across, and there he goes. Second up, car D15, that's Jaco and Johan Visser in their Toyota Hilux. Interesting to note that Johan Visser's car is busy being prepped, so he will be turning from navigator to driver in the near future. You can see how beautiful that car looks for now. He hasn't hit the muddy section just yet. I'm sure these cars are going to be taking a beating through this course and of course on race day tomorrow. Up next, in third place, last year's champion, car number D1. That's Lourens van Wyk with his navigator Sois Marais in another Toyota Hilux. Seems to be the preferred choice of vehicle to have here. Sliding through there already. He's going to be looking to try and maintain that number 1 plate that he's got on that car. Not going to be an easy job because he has got some very tough terrain ahead of him. And that car, I highly doubt, is going to look that nice and white and sparkly by the end of the race. First of our Class E category drivers, that's Rodney Cook and Jaco Schutte in the first of the Nissan hardbodies. And unfortunately, this is the most that you'll be seeing of this car in the time trial, because a little mishap in pit lane, they did not put fuel in that car. So unfortunately missing out, and they won't be finishing the time trial, and they will be looking to redeem themselves in the Saturday big race and get those valuable double championship points that are up for grabs in this endurance event. Up next is car number E6, that's Andre Geldenhuys and Victor Fincham, another Toyota Hilux. Setting off there. Got some work to do to try and catch up and put in a good decent time trial here to get as far up the leaderboard as possible. Like I said, you don't want to be starting further down, because that just means you're going to get even more tricky conditions as the drivers go through there. We've got some very, very, very tough spots here through the muddy sections here today. Another car that is not going to look so sparkly white come end of the time trial. Car number E18, that's Ignis Du Plessis and Juan Vermaak in their brand new Isuzu KB300. Interesting fact is last year finished in the slightly older car that they raced and on 3 wheels. So this guy really does know how to get around this course, not only in 4 wheels but also 3 wheels. So let's see how he'll do this weekend. Hopefully bring that beautiful Isuzu KB300 back on 4 wheels. We'll be seeing the car that did finish on 3 wheels a little bit later up. Car number D16, that's Reagan Austin and Warren Foss in another Toyota Hilux. And look how beautifully prepared that car is. Sponsored there by Midas. Don't think we'll be seeing that branding a little bit later on, maybe 20 or so Ks into this time trial. It's going to be very, very tricky. Great to see them just tackle this opening little section here just before the first crossing. And you can already see in the early stages of this race the different suspension setups that the guys are running. Some going for the softer option, some going for slightly harder. Car number E1, that is last year's champion in the E category. That's Tienes Totoy and Arnold Norkia in another Toyota Hilux. You can see coming through there, already very tricky on the opening part of this race. Don't think these drivers quite know what they're heading themselves into, not only today's time trial but also tomorrow's race. Remember, 2 loops of 200 kilometers each, so a lot of driving still ahead for these guys. Car number D67, that's Deirdrick and Rickers Hatting in their Ford Ranger. Great to see the Ford Ranger out there. That is the first of the diesel category cars that have come up. Turbo diesel being used there in full effect. You can see slightly more settled over the bumps there than some of the previous Hilux cars that we saw. Remember, 4x4 very much the option of today. Coming steaming through here now is car number E3. That is one of many father and son pairings. That's Oki and Jean-Andre Kruger in the Toyota Hilux. Slightly older version of the Hilux there, but you can see the reinforcement that is needed here to get these cars through here. Tackling there, you can see a little bit of mud spray there already, but that is nothing compared to what they are heading themselves into. Up next, car number E99, that is Bertus and Bertus Creel Jr. in their Ford Ranger. And just once again proving what a family category and atmosphere it is here, not only in the pits but also in the cars there, as another father and son combination head off. And you can hear the different sounds of that turbo diesel compared to the normal petrol aspirated cars that have gone on, especially the Toyota Hiluxes. They're going for the petrol option there. So 2 very distinct different categories to go out here is the Class D and Class E. Another Class D driver, that's Hein Moolman with his navigator Paul Marie in another Toyota Hilux. You can hear that petrol engine just screaming already as he heads off there. And you can see the beautiful branding of 4x4 Mega World. That car looking beautiful, beautiful there. Let's hope that he can keep all those panels intact come the end of the time trial and of course the Saturday's race. I don't think so. I highly doubt it, because as I've said on many occasions, this really is going to be a tough race, not only for the drivers and navigators but for the cars as well. D22, that's Wayne Smith and Willie Dupree in another Toyota Hilux. Coming through there, you can see just taking a little bit more gingerly there. So 2 different options. Some of the drivers looking to attack from the word go, some just taking it easy, getting into it and just bringing those cars home. Especially in the race conditions, it's all about picking up those double championship points on offer. You really do want to finish the race. You're going to get points also scoring for finishing the 200k loops, but the big one that you want is the overall double points. And here we go then, car number E17 being driven by Gerard Duplessis and Donovan Thompson, the Isuzu KB280. This is the very car that finished last year's event on 3 wheels. So let's hope and pray that it can get across the line in tomorrow's race on all 4 wheels. Just shows you that we've got all kinds of vehicles here, new and old. Can really just come with any kind of car that's prepped and tackle the terrain here at the Baberspan 500. D77, that's Ahmed Jada and Keith Smith, Nissan Hardbody. You can see he's not holding anything back. He is accelerating flat out at the opening part of this stage. Most of these cars using the standard 6-gear gearboxes, but a lot of drivers opting to go for a taller 5th gear to use the power of the opening three gears. That is a V6 Nissan Hardbody, of course. So he'll have plenty on power on offer, and he's going to need it later on in this race to get through the muddy sections that we've got and are waiting for him. Car E11, that's Andries Maynard and Fani Badenhorst, another Ford Ranger, using all the horsepower available in that turbocharged diesel. Just skipping over those bumps at the opening stages of the time trial. Through the right-hander, you can see the little lit up green and orange stickers there. That's going to help the navigators. Remember, they just follow that road book, so the navigators really have to be switched on just as much as the drivers do. because the driver's relying heavily on their navigators to know exactly where to go. D5, that's Yuri and Peter Duplessis. And that's the final car that's coming out now in the Nissan Hardbody. They'll be looking to pick up valuable championship points, running at the tail end of the championship for now, but anything could happen. Coming out of this event with those double championship points on offer, could leap right up into the top 3 or even top 2 in the championship category. Remember, this is still early stages, only round 2 of the 2018 Northern Regions Cross Country Championship here at the Baberspan 500. You can see taking it very gingerly there, wondering what he's doing there. It's the different kind of options that the drivers take. As we come in now to the halfway stage of the opening time trial, this is our leader. That's Francois de Volt with Kerry Prinsloo in side by side with him. Second car coming through to the second stop now, halfway through. That looks like car number D1, last year's champion. That's Lawrence van Wyk. Car's looking a little bit worse for wear, but still very much intact, which is great to see. That's car number E6. That, of course, is Andre Geldenhuys. Comes to a stop there. Oh, coming steaming through. Yeah, listen to that car screaming as he goes flying through that little mud puddle there. That is car number D15. And, of course, that is Jaco Visser. And this is car number E18. That's the brand new car now. First time out there for Ignis du Plessis in that car. You can see the different kind of driving styles that they come. Some come flat out and clamp on those anchors to get stopped. That, of course, is Reagan. Great to see number car D16 there. Still looking intact, which is nice. I don't think it's going to look like that come the end of the time trial. A very muddy looking car number D67 there. That is Deirdre Hatting. Lights flashing and all coming through there. Taking a little bit gingerly as opposed to the rest of them. That's car number E1. That's last year's Class E champion. That's Tiens de Toy. Comes to a stop there. Gets a couple of words of encouragement and advice before he hits over that crossing. Oh, look at that flat out stuff through there. Hits the brakes. Is he going to get stopped in time? That is the question. Yes, he does. That's the 4x4 Mega World man. That's Hein Mulman, and he started quite far down, but judging by his time, looks like he's going to be up in that top 3. So brilliant drive there from Hein. And look at this hot action already heating up here. Although they set off 2 minutes apart, they're coming through, and while they're dicing it out, both missed the turn. So having to do a U-turn there is Andries Maynard and Gerard Duplessis. And already just getting those 50 cuffs out, and the racing action starting already here on the Friday. Coming steaming through there. They're coming to the point now. Oh, hard on the brakes there. Will he get stopped in time? Yes, he does. Ahmed Jada is up next in his Nissan Hardbody. That's the V6, of course. And here comes the car that finished in 3-wheel with 3 wheels last year. Great to see that he's still got 4 wheels there. And then, of course, is Gerard Duplessis coming to the stop there. Yep, he does. Navigator David Thompson right by his side, doing a great job at navigating him through this tough terrain. Another Nissan Hardbody comes to the stop there. That's Yuri Duplessis all the way from Zanin. As now we go look at the overall results after the time trial. It is D33, Francois van der Walt and Gerry Prinsloo out front, ahead of Hein Mulman and Paul Marais. Lawrence van Wyk and Sois Marais round out your top 3. In Class E, it's all about Andre Geldenhuys and Victor Fincham, Ignis du Plessis, Jean Vermaak, and Andries Maynard and Fani Barnhorst rounding out your top 3. A look at then the combined overall there, and D-Class taking the top 3 spots, but look there in 4th place, first of the Class E, tie on time there with 3rd place. Just shows you how evenly matched these cars are heading into tomorrow's big race. The cars now getting some much needed TLC. You can see that they've taken a huge beating in the time trial, and the organizers have supplied some much needed pressure washers for the competitors to give those cars a nice little bit of cleaning just before the mechanics get their hands into those cars prepped for the big race tomorrow. Beautiful sunset, and this is what we like, starting them off young and small. You can see a lot easier to tackle that mud with that little car. And then, of course, as always here at the Baberspan 500, the organizers put on a brilliant braai. It really has become a tradition at this event for all the competitors and family members and pit crew to enjoy on the Friday night before the big race on Saturday. A brilliant initiative by the Baberspan Motor Club, and the final chance for the competitors to sit down in a friendly atmosphere before it's visors down and friends turn to enemies out on the course. Time for a much needed pit stop. Join us after that for all the epic racing from race day.
In today's episode of Perfect Ride, no one can copy us. How good are these star pupils of the Mercedes E-Class? Can the Audi S3 with 300 horsepower and a powerful 4-cylinder score points? And we visit the Shanghai Auto Show, one of the most important car shows in China.
There's investing in stocks, bonds, and even Bitcoin. But let's talk investing in property. We're not talking buying your first and only home here, but building a property investment portfolio of note. Don't miss out on our brand new show, #Real Estate, where each week we round up some of the most hip and happening guys and girls in the industry that have been through the paces, got down and dirty, and are building property empires. We're going to show you where they're looking, what they consider investment-grade homes, how to manage the necessary investment structures, and so much more. That's #Real Estate, exclusive to Business Day TV.
Welcome back to the Baberspan 500. It is now race day. The sun is out and 400 grueling kilometers lie ahead for all the competitors here. Those birds, I don't think are going to be sitting there for very much longer. It's an early morning start here, 6:30 in the morning. All the drivers line up before they set off from 7:30 a.m. onwards. All the race prep has been done. The medics are out and ready. Hopefully we won't be needing them. And here we go. Underway we go. It is the pole position man. It's Francois van der Walt in the Toyota Hilux. He sets the day's racing off. Let's see how he tackles this first 200-kilometer loop. Coming through the thick ruts there. Tackling it, you can see he's just taking it, I wouldn't say gingerly, but certainly doesn't want to make any mistakes this early on. It is a long day of racing, and you really do want to finish as high up as possible. Car number D13, that's Hein Moolman. The 4x4 world car there, coming through, tackling those ruts a little bit more aggressively, really attacking that, and brilliant driving there, spending most of the time on two wheels, coming through that rutty section, and then they jump straight over that MSA flag. That's how you set off here, and you can see those two cars setting off together after the time trial, setting the exact same lap time there. Coming through that ruddy section, you can see a slightly softer suspension setup for that car. That of course is last year's champion. That's Lawrence van Wyk, and that's the first of our E-category cars. That's Andre Geldenhuys with his wingman there, Victor Fincham, coming through the ruddy section. Oh, look at that four-wheel drive, very much in full force there on that car. You can see that is really going to play a key role in this entire race, having that 4x4 activated. You can see all four wheels begging for traction over those bumps. Andries Maynard is the next car up, setting off a little bit slower than the previous driver, coming through the rut section now. And you can see, look how vital it is to get that ground clearance. So important. You do not want to be clipping that massive rut there in the opening stages of the route. Ramping out of that rut, I love that shot. You really do have to use all the power available from that turbo diesel. Look at the concentration there in the father and son pairing of Diedrich and Rickers as they set off now. Got a lot of mileage to do. Final instructions there. Final little bit of fresh air as they set off. That is of course Amajada and Keith Smith right by his side. Coming through in that Nissan hardbody. Again, ground clearance, so vital. Nice beautiful line there from Ahmed. Tackling that perfectly. Ooh, missing that little apex. They're turning a little bit later than the other competitors, and you don't want to be doing that too often, because those vital seconds could play a key role at the end of this race. This is Reagan setting off there. Beautiful car that. That Midas sponsorship looks so good, especially that orange livery. I don't think it's going to look that orange by the end of this race, or even the end of the first 200k loop. Again, tackling that rutted section. He's going to veer off to the left there perfectly in time there, saving some valuable seconds. And up next, you can see the concentration, not only from the driver, but also from the navigators. They really have to be on top form here. That's E99, that's Bertus Creel. Of course, that is the two Creels, father and son. Coming through there. Oh, look at that, two wheels up there. And look at Bertus Creel Jr. just telling his father maybe just to slow down a bit there, as he thought he was going to roll that car. did look like at one stage that two wheels was going a little bit too high, especially for young Mr. Creel's liking. Tiens to Toy, last year's E-Class champion, a little bit further down than he would want to be, so got a lot of work to do today to pick up some vital championship points and get himself up that leaderboard. The Toyota Hilux there working perfectly through that rutted section, skipping over that little rut, and off he goes. Here we go. Still great to see that car's got 4 wheels intact after finishing last year's race with 3 wheels, as we've mentioned before, and off he goes. Gerard Duplessis and Donovan Thompson. Oh, again, a little bit of two-wheeled action coming through there. You can see the different lines that the drivers are taking, the different car setups. Some going for that harder suspension setup. Oh, missing that little left turn there. But again, suspension setup is so key on these cars. Some of the drivers setting up for a little bit later on in the race, so opting for that softer suspension to tackle the early stuff, and then wanting the harder stuff later on in the stage. That is Yuri Duplessis climbing up the leaderboard there in the time trial. Remember, he was the car that started last in the time trial, but way up there, so a brilliant time trial from that car. He comes skipping very easily over the ruts. Jakovisa is up next. Brilliant launch from the start there, giving it all she's got. Not afraid to climb high in those RPMs, skipping over that little bump. Really attacking these ruts, flat out stuff there. He wants to make up as much time as he can in the early part of this course. Ooh, definitely one of the fastest drivers coming through there. And last but not least, it's Rodney Cook with a full tank of juice this time. Remember, made the big mistake going into the time trial. No mistake this time, and he heads off with that car full to the brim, I can promise you that. Also got a lot of time to make. Trying to make it as early as possible coming through there. Beautiful shot there of the bird sanctuary here at the Baberspan 500. And look at this now. The first of the real muddy sections here. This is halfway into the 200k loop. First gear flat out, begging for mercy out of that car. Look how thick and deep that mud is. Windscreen wipers in full effect now. This is really where the sponsors' decals all get covered up, because there is no escaping all that mud. Oh, aquaplaning through the mud there. Brilliant driving skills there. Look at him fighting that steering wheel. First gear flat out. All she's got, that is, I can promise you now, that is pedal to the metal, flat out stuff there. Andre Geldenhuys, I think he deserves an award for that bit of skill driving. Oh, look at that. You can see the guys just trying to find any which way they can through that section. Really is not that easy. Fighting the cars. Those windscreen wipers are working overtime as they come through there once again. Not as easy as it looks. You think it's just go flat out as fast as you can. Reagan, look at him again, fighting that steering wheel left to right, just trying to find the optimum line to try and get through there. You can find and lose time very easily through that section. Oh, that's very clever. When in doubt, head onto the grass, and that is why he's got the number 1 plate on that car. That's Tiens to Toy. A little bit gingerly through there. Oh, he's going to have to pick up speed. I don't think he's going to make it. Definitely going to have to find some more rhythm coming through there. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Oh, really is struggling here, and that's what I thought. By the sounds of it, it didn't look like he was going to make it there. And there we go, getting pulled out there. That is Bertus Creel with son Bertus Creel Jr. right by his side. Listen to that Toyota Hilux, giving it everything she's got to try and make it through there. It is first gear, flat out stuff. That's a bit more momentum. That's what you need to do. You need to carry that momentum. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because while you're carrying that momentum, the car gets very heavy and not easy to steer through the heavy stuff. You really are taken for a ride through that thick mud. The driver certainly does become a passenger in that situation, making up a lot of time there through there. You can see one less headlight and all. That is our 3-wheeled car from last year, Gerard Duplessis. So it just shows you losing some bodywork already. Oh no, and the first of our retirements. It really is tough terrain here. Succumb to the Baberspan 500. And of course, that is Yuri Duplessis, and he was making up so much ground. It just shows you that even in the early parts of the race, so easy to be caught out by the tough terrain here. No such problems for the man out front, Francois van der Walt. He comes to the first 200k loop stop. This will be the pit lane. And remember, a mandatory 15-minute stop for these drivers. So they have to stop for 15 minutes. Whether you get that car prepped in 5 or 10 minutes, you have to wait there for 15 minutes. And it's the key time to get some well-deserved nutrients, not only in yourself, but in your car as well. A little bit of TLC for the cars. and then it's head off for the next 200k loop. So still plenty of racing action after the first pit stop. And look at that, that was good ground made up there from Lawrence van Wyk, last year's champion in the Class D, doing a great job at bringing that Toyota Hilux home. With all the body panels in place still, I don't think there's going to be many cars certainly ending this race looking quite as well as they do right now. Gingerly making his way into the pit lane there. Trying to see who's coming up next there. It looks like it will be Andre Geldenhuys. He's the first of the E category cars. So brilliant drive so far there from Andre. We saw him tackling that muddy section to perfection earlier on. Driving skills in full force throughout the first 200k loop. Remember, the next 200k loop exactly the same as what they've just conquered. So second lap round a little bit easier because you kind of know what you're heading yourself into. Although with all the cars coming through, 17 in this category does open those ruts up just a little bit, making the terrain that little bit more fierce. Clock of the course just standing at the ready, getting the car stopped. That is Chins Totoy, last year's E-Class champion, coming through. Made up a bit of ground there, but he knows that it's only halfway through. There is still plenty of racing and still very much plenty of situations that could go wrong. Scoring good championship points after the first 200 kilometers, but it's all about finishing the 400k loop and getting those vital double championship points on offer here today at the Baberspan 500. That's Chins Totoy. He heads out now on his second lap. Probably had a nice glass of Coke, some water, and judging by the driving that I've already seen, surely some Panados or Grandpas to help with those headaches, because their heads have been battered around. Great to see the spectators have come out in full force here to enjoy this racing action. Class D driver Reagan Austin coming into the pits now, made up quite a bit of time, and just look at that ant's eye view of those massive ruts that are now happening here. Coming through there is Reagan. Looks ginger, but I can tell you now it is far from that. Remember, these are production based 4x4 buckies, if you like to call them that, tackling this. Slightly modified engines, nothing too serious from the production. So the same car that you go and buy out of a dealership is tackling that hard terrain here. Oh, that's another victim that has fallen here at the Baberspan 500. That's Andries Maynard, the second victim, and unfortunately out after the first 200k loop. Flat out stuff here from our leader, Francois van der Walt. Half the Hilux that he started the race with, but still manhandling around the course. You can see how high that exhaust pipe is. That's of course to help with the ground clearance of these cars. You don't want that exhaust pipe underneath there, because that wouldn't last very long. Coming to the finish line then, a brilliant drive from Francois. He'll take the overall victory and maintain that championship lead. And looks like he's donated some body panel to the Baberspan 500. So I'm sure some of the birds there at the sanctuary will be enjoying that a little bit later on. Looks like that car's also donated some body parts. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of fiberglass bits lying around Baberspan. And then, of course, in second place there is Lawrence van Wyk, car number D1, last year's champion. A brilliant drive coming through there to bring that Toyota Hilux, a very second-hand looking Hilux now. But finishing the race, that's what it's all about, and picking up those double championship points on offer here. First of the E category drivers, rounding out your top three, Andre Geldenhuys, brilliant drive. We saw him manhandle that Toyota Hilux through the muddy section there, and he's kept it all together a little bit better than some. You can see he's still got the side panels on that Toyota Hilux. So I think he should get an award just for bringing the car home with all the panels intact. What an achievement. Ooh, a little bit late on the brakes there. Then he takes out our checkered flag man. You don't want to be doing that. Forfeiting your trophy, I'm sure. And here comes a very second-hand looking Toyota Hilux. You can't even see the sponsors on the side of that car anymore. That is Reagan Austin. But a brilliant drive. Started a little bit further down after the time trial. Did a brilliant drive to round out in the top four there. Hooter and all, love that. A little touch there from Reagan at the end of the race. Great to see that that door still opens after what was a very tough Baberspan 500. Overall Class D then, Francois van der Walt out front, Lawrence van Wyk and Reagan Austin rounding out your top three. In Class E, a brilliant drive leading from start to finish was Andre Geldenhuys, with Ignis du Plessis coming in second place after spending nearly 9 hours in the car over the 400k plus route. Overall then, you could see D-Class drivers taking the first two. Andre Geldenhuys, the first of your E-Class there in third place. and Reagan Austin rounding out your top 4. Join us after this pit stop for racing action from the special category and Class X.
If you remember, but during our last episode, our 3 straight line racers set up a wallet-sized bet.
The loser takes the other 2 on vacation. It's a weekend Vegas trip.
And OB lost the millionaire's bet.
I won my trip to Vegas, I don't care. I want first-class treatment.
And let me tell you, OB's a really good sport. He's got quite a treat lined up for his friends.
Welcome back to racing coverage from a Baberspan 500. Let's catch up then with our event sponsor.
Hi, I'm Frans van Griesel, representing Fieler Africa here at the Baberspan 500 Rally. Currently, this is our 2nd year involved in motorsport. Fieler Africa has recently started importing forklifts as well as material handling equipment. We've then branched out into a full range of front-end wheel loaders, starting from 1 tons all the way up to 6 tons loading capacity. We've also started importing the bull range of TLBs from India. An excellent value for product money, doing exceptional work at an exceptionally good price. Then some exciting news from Fieler Africa. We've recently acquired a brand from Russia offering a full range of combine harvesters as well as tractors from Russia. Also a range of trucks called the Ural trucks that we will be launching at Nampo this year from the 15th of 18th to May. Please come and visit our stand. We're looking forward to meeting you there.
Moving on now to the time trials for our specials category. Tinas and Tian Leroux are out first in their Sandmaster. Remember, these are the guys that won the overall event last year, so a big title to have, and I'm sure they're going to have a big target on their back for this event. Coming through the opening section there, just kicking up some mud. Going to be plenty of that they're going to be faced with a little bit further on in the course, as we've seen in the production categories. Up next is Tony and Mike Govea in their CRT car, switching from automatic transmission to manual for this season. Let's see how that works out for them. You can see the big difference there between the suspension on these cars compared to the productions. A lot more suspension travel on these cars, soaking up those bumps a lot better. A lot easier to drive and a lot more forgiving on the driver's arms than in those production vehicles. Running a V8 4-litre Lexus motor in that car, so plenty of power, and he's going to need it a little bit later on in the stage. Willem de Tooy and Bertus Gossaert up next in the CRT. Another CRT, that's also another V8 car. You can hear him using every single bit of power that he's got in that car. Very talented driver and rider is Willem, having finished last year's Dakar on a KTM motorcycle. So now here playing on 4 wheels at the Baberspan 500. Zalco Motor sponsorship all the way from Uppington. Or getting it nice and sideways through that opening section. He's really attacking this first little bit of route, trying to find as much time as possible here. Not afraid of this kind of terrain, having done the Dakar, I'm sure. Now up next in the National Invitation class, David Huddy getting some much needed testing time under these hard racing conditions in his pursuit in the 2018 National Racing Championship. He's in that Nissan Navara, very special car is that. A lot of money has been thrown at that car. Not very production, let's just say that. Coming through that opening section, you can see just filtering through there now. Skipping over those jumps, you can see the lot more solid suspension setup in that car. compared to the productions. A little bit more suspension travel as well. Remember, a lot more specifications, a lot more aftermarket stuff can be thrown at that car compared to the production cars we saw a little bit earlier on. Leading out our brand new Cross Challenge X-Class is Marius Ferry with brand new navigator Peter Wessels. Remember, he is our reigning 2017 Nationals champion, coming to play here at the Baberspan 500. Flat out stuff through the opening section here. Beautiful setup in that car, laying the power down beautifully, sliding through the right-hander there, getting all kinds of traction. Brilliant stuff there. Another V8 7-litre motor in that car. Comes to the stop there, and oh, I love that shot. Almost wheelies over the crossroad there as he sets off on his attack of this course. Talk about special cars. Here's another one. Alcide Jager and Enem Killian. They're running the Toyota Hilux, very similar to that of the National Invitation of David Huddy's Nissan. So plenty of aftermarket's been thrown at that. Running the V8 Lexus motor, and you can hear by the sound of that car, it's got plenty of power as he comes through there. Fast pace through there, certainly a little bit faster than the man that was just before him. So going to close down that gap for sure. Checking him just railing those little jumps there as he comes now to the first stop. Down the gearbox, he's going to slam on the brakes, navigate around the right hand there, and again just hops over that crossroad and off he goes into the distance. Still got about 180 k's to navigate. Jannie Visser is up next. We've got Chris Visser Jr. and they are the local flavour for this race meeting. So local knowledge going to come into play for sure in that Toyota Hilux. Beautifully prepared. You can see the nice reinforcement there just to help. And Jannie's going to be a big player in tomorrow's race, certainly knowing the terrain that he's about to face. Flat out stuff there, no holds barred, just foot pedal to the metal stuff there. You can hear the local crowd giving him a little bit of encouragement. Comes to the stop, always look left and right. There we go, hops over there nicely and into the distance. Pete and Benjamin Kutsia in their Toyota Hilux, through the gears, second, third, maybe up to fourth gear, depending on the gear ratios that they have in that car. Remember, you can run different gear ratios. A lot of guys opting to run the 5-speed box, slightly longer, but it just gives you that more grunt in first, second and third gears. Always a lot less work having to change gears, and that's exactly what it's about. Less is more, especially in this kind of terrain and this kind of distance that they're doing. Louis Weichelt and Heineke Erasmus, they set off in their Toyota Land Cruiser. They are from N1 4x4 and they are cruiser and Toyota experts, and it's great to see them here showing off their products and racing and taking on the Baberspan 500. Different sounding to the rest of the cars that we've seen on show already today. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Just look at the nice, beautiful scenery in the background there. As we said before, the birds aren't going to be quite having the same kind of quiet day they normally have here at Baberspan. The Land Cruiser, beautiful, nice and stable coming through that section. Brilliantly set up there. These boys really do know what they're doing. That's why we call them the experts. Can you see here, just using the torque of that Land Cruiser. Toyota got plenty of torque and looks like to be the vehicle of choice here this weekend. Coming through that little muddy section now to the first stop. It's the first of our specials cars. We will stop, get some instruction and go through. The very fast and national spec Toyota Hilux is up next. Same stop. Using all the brakes possible, getting a little bit of fresh air there. That's exactly what you need here. The sun is out, but it was certainly not out the week leading up to this race. As you can see by the mud already splattered on the side of all these vehicles. And remember, they've got to be very careful. That mud could very easily clog up those radiators. And with a whole day still of racing to do, you do not want overheating vehicles. Zalco Motors Appleton car comes to a standstill there. He'll get over that crossing. This is about halfway through the time trial section. They come filtering through one by one now. You can see how dirty those cars are. They've had a rough ride so far. It's only been about 20 k's, but it's been 20 very hard k's. Here comes the Land Cruiser. There we go, N1 4x4, still very visible on the side of that car, but I don't think it will be for much longer. At the end though, in the specials class, it was all about Willem de Tooy and Bertus Gossaert, just ahead of father and son pair of Tony and Michael Gouveia. Behind them, Bad Luck Fortinus and Tian Leroux. Unfortunately, mechanical problems put them out of the race. Having a look then at the club class, the X-Time trial was Marius Fourie ahead of LC De Jager and Yanni Visser rounding out your top three. Right, join us after this pit stop for race day action from Class X and the specials category.
Tonight on Highway Patrol, a driver has fled the scene of an accident.
Got him.
And Nick McCran is hot on his tail. He says, she says, who's right?
I swear it was a yellow light.
You are kidding yourself if you thought that was yellow.
It was a yellow one.
I think that was red.
It was yellow still.
Could the police be wrong? And a driver is trapped and the situation is suspicious.
I've just been advised it's a stolen car.
Port Phillips 614 for a car check on the move, thanks.
Welcome back to the gorgeous Baberspan 500, and it's race action time now for the Class X and Specials categories. Lining up first, it is Marius Fourie. He sets off. He set the fastest overall time after the time trials on Friday, and he sets off to try and conquer this 200k loop. First lap, and then remember he's got still a second lap of another 200k through. Look how much more speed they can carry through the rutted section there compared to the production categories that we saw a little bit earlier on. Purpose built for these kind of conditions is that car. And there we go, that very powerful screaming Toyota Hilux gets a brilliant start off the line there. Remember, that is a national spec car, so also will be thriving in these kind of conditions. 4x4 mode very much activated on that car. Brilliant piece of driving there, keeping the car nicely in the ruts and just bounces over there. No problems whatsoever for that car. There's the local man, he sets off. Let's see now, the local knowledge. He'll know that how big these ruts get. He probably deals with it every day, just not at that kind of pace. Oh, I love that, almost wheelies out of that rut. It's a little bit of encouragement there from the crowd. Here's the Zalco Motors back car of the Dakar man, Willem de Toy. He sets off a little bit gingerly compared to the rest of them, but he knows that he's got 400 k's plus of hard terrain to try and get through. And being the Dakar man, he knows it's all about patience. Coming through there nice and steady, keeping it all nice and together. He's going to ramp out of that rut nicely. Looks different lines from a couple of the drivers. A couple of drivers deciding to turn out of that rut a little bit sooner than others. And there we go, the Toyota Land Cruiser, the N1 experts are going to put that Land Cruiser to the test here today. Over 400 k's of testing. That is brilliant stuff for that car. Valuable information that they'll be able to take back and put into that car. There is no testing like race testing. Race conditions like this really do test not only the cars but also the drivers themselves, and of course the navigators. Remember, the navigators just carry a little road book, and that's how they've got to navigate their way through. So you've got to have 100% concentration all the way through. There's some big massive holes, and of course we've seen how much mud there is out there already, so you really have to be ginger. You do not want any kind of repairs having to be done out on the track. There we go, he's going to ramp right out of there, nicely done. Using the horsepower of that car, you can see a low RPM choice there for that driver, not choosing to rev it up like the rest of them. That's car P51. That is Tony Gouveia. He tests off there with his son. A little bit of final air being taken in there before they set off, and that is our national invitational driver, that's David Huddy. Really keen to see what kind of lap time he's able to set here. Well, remember, first you have to finish. Oh, here we come, flat out stuff. Look how much more speed he could carry through that muddy section over the production vehicles. Here comes the Hilux. Oh man, just listen to that car screaming, begging for mercy, not getting any there. Very heavy foots coming through that muddy section there. The local man, he knows that. Well, that's not the way you really want to be taking it. That's Willem de Toy taking it very gingerly through there. Lose a little bit of time now, and the car's ahead of him. Oh, there we go. You don't want that mud getting into that radiator or into that motor. Low RPM on Sunday cruise there, sounds like. That's how you do it. Windscreen wipers on, aircon off. You don't want the aircon activated for that. You just flat out stuff. First or second gear. Oh, no problems for the Land Cruiser. The Toyota Land Cruiser has fallen victim here now to the Baberspan 500, unfortunately out of this race. But that is a brilliant shot of the Hilux coming over the hill there. That really was a great shot, using all the power and all the driving skill that he has. That's Alcide Jager, putting every little bit of experience that he has to the test here this weekend. Great to see that he missed those beautiful sunflowers. We don't want to be tearing those out of the ground. He's not worried about that though. He just wants to get to the first pit stop. Remember, mandatory 15 minutes. Here he comes under the Pirelli gazebo. He'll stop there. Clock of the course gives him some instructions. Yeah, 15 minutes. Go have a Kool-Aid, go have a nice drink, maybe some biltong, get yourself sorted. You still got 200 Ks of very hard driving to do. Some cheers from the local crowd there. And this man is going to get the biggest cheer of all. Local flavor, that's Jannie Visser in his Hilux X1. Brand new category for this year is the Cross Challenge, of course, X-Class. Taking to it like a duck to water. No wonder he chose that number 1, because at the moment really looking like he is the man to beat out on this course. It's like a drive home pretty much for him. Flat out stuff there as he comes through the field there. He'll come now to the Pirelli stop. There we go. Stop. 15 minutes in the pit lane, please, and then it's head off for 200 more flat out Ks. Like I said, the exact same route as the first 200 Ks, so they'll know what they've got themselves into for round number 2. Maybe just change up the lines a bit. Those are the markers, the orange markers used to help the navigators tell their drivers where to go. There we go, back out on the circuit now is Alcide Jager. Got one more lap of 200 Ks to do, one more loop, and he's already lost half of his car there. That stop sign, is he going to pay attention to it? Yes, he does. Good man. Hard on the brakes there. Only just makes it. Gets the go ahead, and it's flat out stuff. Not wanting to waste 1 second. Look at that car. It really is a little bit worse for wear now. This Hilux is withstanding all the pressure that man, Jannie Visser, is giving it. And it looks like he's closing that gap now down on Alcide Jager. Just looking at the lap times there, they're very evenly matched now at the halfway stage of the second loop. There we go. Gets the instructions to go. It's going to come down to the wire though between Jannie Visser and Alcide Jager. We're going to have to wait and see. The 2 Cross Challenge and X category drivers. There is the finish line. Nice. Checkered flag is out there. And it looks like it's going to be Jannie Visser, the local man, with Chris Visser Jr. right by his side. They will come. Panel still very much intact, or not very much, only just intact there. But the local man does pick up the win in the brand new category for 2018. Alcide Jager, oh man, 36 minutes, unfortunately stuck in the mud, had to get that car out, and you can see it's a little bit worse for wear, but he will drop now down to second place there, but still a brilliant job to get it out of the mud and to the finish line. Not holding back there though, trying to make up as much time as possible, but he'll know now that he'll finish in second place, just behind Jannie Visser, but another brilliant drive nonetheless. Good, valuable championship points in his pursuit for the 2018 title. We wait to see if any other driver is going to come through. Here we go. That is the National Invitational driver. That's David Huddy in the Nissan Navara. Brilliant drive there. Still that car very much intact there. Flat out stuff as he comes to the finish line under the Pirelli bridge. Is he going to stop in time now is the question. Yes, he does. Sees the checkered flag man. A brilliant drive there. Good, valuable national testing time there. There is no better testing than race testing. Here we go. It's the father and son pair there of Tony and Michael Gouveia. They'll bring that specials car home. Leading out in the specials category. Brilliant drive there. A little bit worse for wear. You can see some of the body armor there just coming a little bit loose. Plenty of body parts and panels lying around Baberspan here this weekend, being donated to the beautiful nature reserve that is here at the Baberspan 500. Let's have a look then at the overall results in the special class. It was Tony and Michael out front. Willem de Tooy unfortunately with problems, and Tinus Leroux and Tian not making the start. Club Class X, Jannie Visser just ahead of Alcide Jager after those problems, stuck in the mud for over 36 minutes, but it was a brilliant battle out front between himself and Jannie Visser, but it was the local man at the end that picked up the overall win. Time for the prize giving. Beautiful trophies on hand here as always, and what a brilliant event it has been. Spectators and competitors alike really enjoyed it. The family atmosphere once again was right up there. And as you can see by the prize giving, everyone getting together, and enjoying the final bit of the day's racing. The time for the big stuff. The beautiful trophies will be handed out to the top 3 in each category. They really do deserve those trophies after the conditions that they tackled this weekend. Big round of applause for everyone involved. And what a great series this is turning out to be. The 2018 championship is going to be bigger and better than ever. And we look forward to bringing you all the action throughout the course of the year. Remember, right here on Mud, Dust and Gears. Final couple of trophies being handed out. A round of applause. There's our overall winners and trophy hunters. A brilliant weekend's racing. And remember, all this racing action was brought to you by our associate sponsors, Fila Africa, Pirelli, Andre Kokkensian and Zalcon Motors from Uppington. As the sun sets here at the Baberspan 500, remember to join us for the next round on the 21st of April at Lichtenburg.